Hey, everybody. Good morning. And I am so excited to be here. Welcome to Fruitful Fridays. And I'm excited that you're here, whoever's joining me this morning. And if you're listening to the replay, I've got such an important topic that this is this morning about loneliness. And I know that it's so prevalent for so many. So stay tuned for that. Before we get into it, I just want to talk about how you were fruitful this week. So I hope you had an awesome week. I hope you had some good accomplishments or just feeling good about something you did, something that you said to somebody. Could be your kids or your family or something in your business that you progressed with or tackled and got a project done, got something booked, or whatever business you're in. You did really well. You were fruitful, just being productive, and take time to celebrate that. Write it down, celebrate it, because we don't do that so often, do we? And what that's going to do is just be grateful for what you did, because oftentimes we don't really think about how many things that we got accomplished. It's going to open your heart up. It's going to open your heart, open your mind. And that's what we want to do. Always open our minds up. So, with that, before we get into loneliness, I just want to say that for those who don't know me, I'm Karen Treaster. My company's Never Settle Life Coaching, and I work with people in transition and with divorced women to get whole and thrive. And getting whole is really what it's all about. Because in order to thrive, you have to feel good about yourself. And that's what we try to concentrate on, to feel more confidence, to feel even more success, and to just accomplish those things that you've been trying to do, giving you courage and finding clarity. So that's what I focus on. And with that, I would like to get into the topic, which is loneliness. And loneliness can be really different for a lot of people. And it's different from being alone. Because being alone, you could just go out and be alone and you're good with that, right? But loneliness, that's really different. That a lot of times that happens if you are, let's say, on a weekend night, you're home by yourself, and all of a sudden you start to conjure up all these thoughts like, what am I doing? I'm a loser. What? Nobody likes me. I'm not good enough. What's wrong? I mean, and you can just really go into a rabbit hole, can't you? And that's the loneliness that I'm talking about. And I know for so many that, as I said, that's so prevalent. And it can just get worse. And it's a feeling of void. And I know I've had it before. I have to say I don't have that issue right now because of a lot of the stuff that I'm going to be talking about. So stay tuned. You're going to hear a lot of things that you can do to help to overcome this. And what this will do, this loneliness, is it can really bring you, as I said, in that rabbit hole into depression and feeling like just more stress. It gives you stress. And then we're going to talk about what that actually can do to your body with all that stress. Drug abuse and just so much more. And a lot of people, like I said, in my divorce group, I will see this. It could be from losing a spouse that you may feel this. It could be from abandonment. It could be from fear. Maybe even moving to a new location that can bring loneliness to some people. And there's even clinical studies that were done that prove that the correlation between loneliness and diseases like heart disease are prevalent. So, and a lot of this stuff, I just want to say, I want to give credit. I got this from John Holland, who's a leader, a spiritual leader and author. And this is an article that he wrote about loneliness. So he is with Hay House. And I also reference someone else too, who I'll talk about from Hay House as well. So what can you do about loneliness? Oh, and another thing I wanted to mention, and I didn't realize this, but according to research done at the University of Chicago and a top loneliness expert, there are those out there, because it's so big, it's strongly connected to your genetics. All right, so let's get into some of the things. First of all, just by understanding the effects that it has on your life, both physically, as you can see, and mentally. Really, the number one thing that would be suggested is to make a change. Excuse me, make changes. And because when you start making these changes, you're going to feel differently. And I know that. I know that firsthand. I know I've got clients. Like I said, it's very big. And when they started making changes, all of a sudden they were okay with being by themselves. And let's face it, we're not always going to be with somebody. And so it's important to take a look at these things. So having 3 or 4 close friends is really key to, or one way to ward off loneliness. And what it's going to do is just reduce the health consequences that you can get in this state of mind, like I talked about. And so having friends, close friends. And so think about your friends. I have friends, and I know life just goes easier when you are with your friends. That I can say, because I've been at a point where I go out with a lot of friends and then sometimes I don't. I stay more to myself. And I always have better things, more things happen when I'm with my friends. And definitely for people who are lonely, this is huge. And then also a support group is really good. And this is recommended. Some of these things are recommended by John Holland, who I talked about. And also doing an activity that you love. So maybe it's something you haven't done for a while, and you can meet people, whether it's joining a class or going and taking up music or art, or doing some kind of a dance like line dancing or something like that. Just something where you are involved with people and you have a chance to meet people. Good morning, Anne. Glad to have you join. And getting involved with community as well. Thanks so much for the hearts. Getting involved with community is so important too. And you know what? If you're a leader in business, if you've got some kind of business, take that and bring it to community. And this is huge for warding off loneliness. And just getting involved with your purpose as well. Getting involved with something that makes you feel good. And I know a lot of times purpose it's so hard for people. And I have clients all the time that say, well, I don't have a purpose. I don't know my purpose. Well, it takes a little bit of, you do have a purpose. Everybody has a purpose. And it could be a simple thing of just helping people, not just, that is huge. Helping someone with something, whatever you do that makes you feel good. And then you can kind of take that and 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 put it into something where it becomes your business, or it just becomes part of your life. You may be a grandmother and loving it. So thank you, Anne. And thank you for the hearts. I love that. I love that. I love the hearts. And anybody else who is on here, the likes and hearts are what make me come back. So I really appreciate that. So concentrate on developing quality relationships. I kind of talked about that before, about the close relationships. And the quality relationships are really what's key. So it's, you know what, maybe you only just have a couple of friends, but a couple of really good friends. And as opposed to many, many people who you're more just an acquaintance with. And it's kind of like what I talked about in the last video, be a master at something, right? Instead of doing a lot of different things, which actually I was talking about, John Maxwell was saying that instead of doing a lot of different things, become good at one thing. So be good in a relationship with your friends. And this is going to ward off loneliness as well, because you get that love, that support from other people, and as well in a support group too. And focus on positive thoughts and attitudes in your social relationships. So if you're around a lot of negative people complaining, this is going to bring you down. And I know sometimes, you know what, you join in, and but what you focus on is what you get. And so if you're focusing on that, how bad it is, more of that is going to come to you. And so just turn that around and really, really start focusing, not only with yourself, with friends. And quite frankly, I kind of distance myself from people who are really too negative in a social situation, just because of that. And it doesn't mean I don't like them. Or another thing I do is just try to be a model for being positive. And I think that's something that you can do as well. If you are modeling that, then other people follow suit. So that's something that you can do. Now, this next part is, I want to give credit to Robert Holden, and he is another Hay House author, broadcaster, and psychiatrist. Oftentimes, busy or successful people have taught themselves to have a really tough exterior and a hardened heart. So this may be you, this may not be you. I think also that people that feel unworthy kind of put that exterior on as well. And sometimes I have found that people who have low self-esteem just don't think that they're worthy and of having friends, of being with people. And so they do keep to themselves, and are more, in solitude. And anyway, getting back to the people that are successful, that are really successful, tend to do this as well. And a lot of these types of people stay to themselves, and they work as an individual instead of a team. And of course, that's not, you're not getting that connectiveness when you're doing that. And by not opening your heart, you're not going to feel the successes. So a lot of the successful people have success, but they don't feel that. They don't let it in. And remember what I said before in the very beginning, open your heart, open your mind. And excessive individuals want admiration and not intimacy. And they want to win, not join, and they end up lonely at the top if they even make it. So, they also have poor emotional resilience. And that's where I talked about that in one of the other videos as well. That's where you kind of absorb all the pain from emotional things that you're going through. And so you're just not going to feel at peace. And you're not going to be spiritually open or rooted. And you really have no sense of belonging. So they're on their own and they're afraid. So again, consider this. Relationships are really the heart of success. So ask yourself, and these are questions from Robert Holden, how true is this for you? So just kind of ponder that. And think about how your relationships are, and maybe journal about it. Because once you start opening up, and write it down, you're gonna start opening your heart again and be more open-minded. And so just think about that, and think about the people that you used to be friends with, and how close are you now? And I know sometimes I go through periods where I was really connected and then I wasn't, and I was. And I'm thinking, I don't know why. Why did I not be connected? I mean, that's really what life is all about. So just something to think about. And it really may just give you some answers. And the next thing is really, I think, one of the most important ways to change so you don't feel lonely. And that is self-love. And I know that's a really hard topic for a lot of people, because I get it all the time. Well, I don't love myself. I'm not, not worthy, or it's really, everybody's worthy. And this next section is kind of from Louise Hay, who a lot of people know. She founded the Hay House, and she's an author and really the queen of self-love. And so you can look her up and listen to some of her CDs. She's really fantastic. She's deceased now. And you may have self-esteem from any number of reasons, really. It could be an ex that left you, or somebody didn't treat you with respect. And it could be a friend, it could be your spouse, it could be a family member. And you feel like you're just not perfect. You feel like you're not good enough. And all these things are going to keep you in this place of constantly just doubting yourself and second guessing yourself. And this is what can keep you isolated. So I'm going to talk about some of her health, her practices for self-care. And again, a lot of people I know may know about these, and the question is, are you really doing them? And are you implementing them? So it's something that you may want to try and just stick with and see how you do with it. And the big one is what she calls mirror work. And this is it's not easy. It's saying affirmations in the mirror, positive, empowering thoughts, specifically, what you would say is, I love you and your name. So for me, I would say, I love you, Karen, and repeat it 20 times. You can repeat it more every time you see a mirror, and especially in the morning. What you're doing is you are looking in your eyes, and it is such an incredible experience because you're really going deep into your soul when you're looking in your eyes and you're telling yourself that. And it just, it reaches your inner child. And that's what is so key, because for you to believe from your heart that you are loved and you are worthy, this is going to help so tremendously with any kind of loneliness. And the more you do that, the more you're going to believe it. And I've often talked about how you change the neural paths in your brain. And when you tell yourself something enough, it's going to actually make that connection where it becomes your reality. So repeat, I love you and your name in the mirror. And it what it does is it just kind of opens the dam to this flood, to good things for you to happen and for miracles to happen. And the other thing is, she is really big on gratitude, which I've talked about a lot. And maybe just when you wake up in the morning, this is one of the exercises she has. First thing in the morning is being grateful before you even get out of bed, and just be grateful for your whole body. Be grateful for you. Be grateful that you have feet, and that if maybe you work on your feet, and be grateful for that. Be grateful for your legs. I mean, she goes through her whole body. So if you're looking for things to be grateful for, this is great, because you're being grateful for you. And you are amazing. I mean, we have amazing parts to us, and we have amazing brains, and there's so many good things about us that we don't often acknowledge. And so doing this is really key. And the Bible says you are a child of God. And I'm not here to push religion, but it you know what, you are worthy, and you have respect for yourself. It's inside you. It's in your DNA. We are all worthy. And like I said, I'm not here to press religion. However, there's something bigger than us. And I have a lot of faith, and I have God in my life. You may have be very spiritual, and whatever you have, embrace it. Embrace it. God gets me through so much, and it really helps with not being lonely. So if you just believe in your higher self, believe in a higher power, this strength alone, I think, helps as well. Well, I know it helps. So just do some of these things, do a few of the changes, see how you feel, and see if you feel differently when you do them. What you give out is what you're going to get back. So by practicing these, you can't not change a little bit. So there's nothing worse than loneliness, and it is tied to one of the biggest killers in America. So, which is your heart disease. And so, for your health, for your peace of mind, for your success, for your confidence, for your happiness, for your joy, for, you know what, your life, for your kids, your family, your friends, it's worth it to work on this. And I don't want to see anybody lonely. There's too many things that you can do about that. So that's it. I hope this has been helpful for you today. And if you like what you see, thank you for hearts, thank you for likes, any comments you have, any questions, please let me know. You can go to my website, which is neversettlelifecoaching.com, and you share with a friend. There are so many lonely people out there feeling this sense that, you know, there's just something more, that again, that void. And whatever you can do as a friend is going to be really, really help them and bless them. And remember, never settle. Never settle. Live a life you love. You deserve it. So I hope you all have a fantastic, fabulous Friday. I hope you have a very fruitful weekend, or relaxing weekend, I should say. You know, do some self-care, do some of these practices, and then next week have an amazing, fruitful week. And I'll be back on Friday. I am going to be at a seminar. I'll work out how I'm going to do that, maybe before I leave, because I know it's going to be early. But anyway, I look forward to seeing you next week. All right. Have a great day, everybody. Bye-bye.